Yo, what's going on YouTube? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the best audio and controller settings for Black Ops 6. I'm going to try and cover everything in this one video. There is a lot to change, but you definitely have to apply these settings to get the game sounding and feeling right. For me, the audio was horrendous at the beginning of this game. It was almost like everyone had dead silence when they were pushing me, but now with these changes, we can actually hear and have good directional audio. So hopefully this helps you guys out. If it does, please hit that like button, hit that sub button, and make sure you leave a comment down below if you have any questions. We're going to talk about audio first and then the controller settings afterwards. So let's jump into this. Okay guys, so when you have Warzone loaded up, you're going to want to click your start button, go over here in the top right to the settings icon, and then you want to scroll down here to audio. The face cam's kind of blocking it, but you can see there's the audio tab. You want to select it. Here in the first tab is the main things that you're going to want to change. Since I'm on a dual PC setup, my master game volume is at 20. You always want this to be at 100. So ignore my master game volume, just put it at 100, and you also want to scroll down here to effects volume and make sure this is also at 100. If your effects volume is lower, then it will mute footsteps and it will not work in your favor. After that, you're going to want to scroll down here to this enhanced headphone mode. This is the paid to win audio supposedly in Warzone, but it's absolutely trash. I would not recommend it. I know a lot of Warzone pros and audio optimizers do not recommend this. Make sure this is turned off. And if you did pay for this, hopefully you can get your money back because it is not that good. After that, you want to scroll down here to audio mix and you want to make sure that Sucker Punch is selected. After trying out a bunch of these, I can definitely say that Sucker Punch is the best. It gives you the loudest footsteps. It gives you the best directional audio so you can easily find your enemies. A lot of people do recommend bass boost. I've tried this and personally I do not like it. I feel like explosions are a lot louder, and at the end of the day you want explosions and all the loud ambient noises to be kind of suppressed. After that, you want to scroll down here a little bit more to asymmetrical hearing compensation. You'll want to make sure this is turned on. It should be off by default. Make sure this is turned on. This basically just gets rid of a lot of the background noises in the game, such as wind, water, enemy gunshots, so it suppresses the noises that don't really matter, and this will make hearing footsteps a lot better. And that's pretty much it for audio settings for console players, but for my PC players, we can do one more thing to really enhance the footsteps. So for all my PC users, you guys are going to want to go down here in the bottom right where this little speaker icon is. You just want to right click it and then hit sounds. This little menu will pop up here. You want to go to the playback tab and you want to find your headset. For me, since I'm on a dual PC setup, it is routed through my Go XLR. But like I said, you want to find your headset with this green little check mark next to it. Once you locate that, you just want to hover over it and then right click, and then you want to go down here and select properties. And then after that, you want to go up here to enhancements, and then you want to make sure loudness equalization is checked right here. After it's checked, you want to click on loudness equalization so it's highlighted, and then you want to select settings. This is where all the magic happens. You want to make sure that this level, this bar, is all the way to the left on short. I think by default it's right in the center, so make sure it's all the way to the left. You can click OK, you can click apply, and then you can cancel out of these. And yeah, your audio should sound a lot better. If you guys do have an Astro headset like I do, you can go on my channel and find my Astro tuning video. You can download the Astro Command Center. That's the software where you can tune frequencies, which will also enhance your footsteps. Now let's get into the controller settings. So again, make sure Warzone is loaded up. You want to click start, toggle over to settings, and then click on this controller tab. First things first, your sensitivity should be something that feels good to you. Don't copy other people's sensitivity because you're not used to it. It's going to feel foreign. You're probably going to start missing shots, and just use something that feels comfortable. People think if you crank up your sensitivity, it'll make you a better player. That's not always the case. Lower sense is proven to give you better accuracy, especially for beginner players. So I would definitely recommend to start around 6.6 or maybe even 5.5. But for me, 9.9 feels the best. But the main thing you want to change in this tab is your Deadzone inputs. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see it right here. It's the last thing. And then for me, I got to click X to show more. And this is where all the magic happens. So you want to make sure your left stick minimum is set to 1. That's basically the distance that your left stick will travel to enable your automatic tack sprint. So with it being set on 1, that means I can barely touch my stick and then I will go into a full sprint, which is good. The faster that you are moving, the better. And then your left stick max basically does the same thing. This just makes it where your stick doesn't have to travel all the way to the edge of your controller to enable that automatic tack sprint. So instead of your stick having to go 100% forward, it only has to go 70% forward to enable that run. And then your right stick minimum is your tracking and your aiming. For me, 5 feels the best. The lower, the better. It gives you more of your raw input. You have more control of your aim, and it gives you less input delay. So the more that this number is cranked up, the more delay you're going to have when turning and aiming at your enemies. So the lower the better for this. You don't want to go too low, because if I set mine to 1, for example, I will have a little bit of stick drift. If you don't know what stick drift is, basically when you're not touching your controller, your character is moving or looking around on its own. So if you are experiencing that, even on 5, if you copy these settings, you might just want to turn it up to either 8 or 10 just to get a feel for it, to make sure you don't have any stick drift. And then your right stick max, you do want to leave this on 99 so you have that full range of motion for your aiming. If you bring this down, you'll just limit yourself on exactly where you can go with your analog stick, and it can make your tracking very, very difficult. So I would definitely leave this cranked all the way up. And then left trigger and right trigger, you want to make sure they are on 0, or some people even set these to 1. Again, it just makes it so you're shooting your gun and aiming down your sights a lot quicker, basically giving you an advantage over the enemy. So if we look at the very top again, we have the aiming tab. You want to tab over to that, and then your sensitivity multiplier is probably the number one thing that most people look over. So if you scroll down here a little bit to aiming advanced settings, you want to select that, and then you want to scroll all the way down here to custom sensitivity per zoom. And then for me, I got to click X to show more. By default, this should be set to 1.0 like these other ones. You want to make sure it's always less than 1. Most people play around 0.95 or even 0.90. All this does is it makes you hit more shots at range, giving you more accuracy, and it's easier to adjust on your targets. It just slows down the micro movements with your analog sticks when you're barely touching it. So I definitely recommend setting this lower. I always play it on 0.95. For this game, 0.96 seems like the sweet spot for me, but I would definitely lower these settings. And personally, I don't snipe too much. If I was a sniper main, I would probably drop these as well to 0.96, but I don't snipe too much, so I don't really worry about these. But if you are a sniper, definitely change these. And then right above custom sensitivity, it says aim response curve type. You want to make sure this is on dynamic. Again, this will make it where your micro movements with your right analog stick are slowed down just a little bit, giving you the upper advantage at range, hitting more shots, better tracking, all the good stuff. From there, we can back out and then we can go to the movement tab. And then you want to make sure this tactical sprint assist is on. This is basically auto tac sprint from the previous Warzones. I don't know why they named it differently in this game. You want to make sure this is on. This just makes sprinting a lot easier, so you don't have to keep clicking in on your left stick. You just move your left stick up and you'll automatically tactical sprint. From there, you want to go down here to slide/dive behavior. I always played hybrid in the last Warzone, so I could dive and slide when I wanted to. But when I tried hybrid on this game, it felt super strange to me. Like the slide canceling felt very delayed, and I didn't really like that. Or I was also just randomly diving when I wanted to lay down or when I wanted to drop shot. So for me personally, slide only feels the best. It's the most responsive. Slide canceling feels smooth. You don't get a lot of dead slides with this. But if you do like diving, I would definitely recommend hybrid to try to get used to it. But for me personally, I just could not get used to it. And that should be all for this tab. And then the very last tab up there at the top is combat. So you can tab over to that. And you want to make sure that your armor plate behavior is on apply all. That way you don't have to keep tapping your button to plate up. You just tap it once and it applies all plates. And then right below that, you want to click on combat advanced settings. And for some reason in this game, the sprint cancels reload is automatically turned on. I have no idea why this is like this. It's a horrible feature. It shouldn't even be in the game. I personally thought they added this as a permanent thing, and I just couldn't reload and sprint at the same time. It was driving me nuts when this game first came out. So you want to make sure sprint cancels reload is turned off. This shouldn't even be a setting. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. It makes me lose my mind. And then right above this setting is interact/reload behavior. You want to make sure this is on prioritize interact. That way looting is a lot quicker. You just got to tap your loot button instead of holding it. Again, it's just more responsive. You can get in and out of gunfights quicker, and it just feels better overall. Okay, one last thing that you guys are going to want to change to help with the visual recoil in this game. It'll basically give you less shake on your weapons when you are shooting, and that is in the graphics tab right here below controller. So once you're in graphics, you want to tab over in the very top. You see display, quality, and view. you want to go to view and you want to make sure that your ADS field of view is on affected. Sometimes it's set to independent. You always want to make sure this is affected. Again, this just helps with that visual shake, giving you better recoil control. You can see your targets a lot easier. And in my opinion, this is another setting where it should be no independent. I don't know why that's even in the game. And then right above that, you want to make sure your field of view is at least 110 to 120. Make sure you adjust this. This basically zooms out your camera of your weapon and your surroundings. So your awareness is better. You can see more of what you're doing. You can see enemies to your left and to your right better. You can also scroll down here to weapon field of view and turn it on wide. That basically makes your gun look smaller, giving you a better field of view. And then after that, you want to scroll down here to first person camera movement. But you want to make sure these are both on at least 50%. This gets rid of a lot of the camera shake. Like when you get hit by explosions and just a lot of visual clutter that you just don't need. And then last but not least, inverted flashbang is my favorite thing. Make sure this is on, because when you get flashed in the game, you get flashed in real life. All right, it's like a white blanket over your head and someone's trying to beat your cheeks from behind. So all this does is it makes the screen all black when you get flashed instead of all white, basically just prolonging your vision and making sure you don't need bifocals by the time you're 37. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know down below in the comments. Guys, we're also top 50 in the world right now for the most wins in Warzone. So hopefully you guys tune into the live streams. We're live every single night on Facebook and Kick at RS It's Ghost. Hopefully you guys will at least give me a follow on those other platforms. It would be much appreciated. Make sure you guys hit that like button and that subscribe button. Again, if you have any comments, leave it down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Hopefully it's helped you guys. Make sure you share it with a friend if they're having audio issues. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.